Thank you for staying with Republic. This is live and breaking at 5:30. I'm Suesha Sound. Let's take a quick check of the headlines we're tracking at this hour. Trouble mounts for Kejriwal's deputy. Sisodia to stay in jail as court reserves order. 18 opposition parties joined Kavitha's hunger strike. Is agency crackdown the glue sticking opposition ahead of 2024?
बात किससे करोगे? गहलोत से बात करके जवाब दे दो। गहलोत से बात कर लो। उदय सिंह गहलोत से बात कर लो।
Gehlot's cops hit a new low. Whereabouts of Pulwama widows unknown after late-night detention. Government exposes Western media propaganda, says New York Times is peddling lies against Modi government. Prime Minister Modi raises attacks on Hindu temples in Australia, seeks action from Albanese. And in a record win, Xi Jinping has been elected as China's president for a third time. And we begin this edition by getting you details of the massive showdown in Jaipur after Rajasthan police detained the martyrs' wives and took them to an unknown location late last night, where the BJP continues to stage protests. Questions being asked of the BJP to the Gehlot government as to where these women have been taken. In the meanwhile, my colleague Amardeep has sent us this ground report to give us a sense of what exactly panned out as these widows were staging protests outside Sachin Pilot's residence.
अस्पताल में भर्ती हैं, लेकिन उनको समर्थकों को खदेड़ती हुई यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं एसटीएफ के जवान यहाँ पे दिखाई दे रहे होंगे आपको। यहाँ पे डिटेन किया गया है कुछ कार्यकर्ताओं को, यहाँ देख सकते हैं आप। यहाँ डिटेन किया है यहाँ पे
पुलिस के दम पे गुंडागर्दी, पुलिस के दम पे गुंडागर्दी, ये सरकार है राज्य के पूरी तरह।
यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं किस तरीके से किरोड़ी लाल मीणा के जो समर्थक हैं उनको लेकर के जाया जा रहा है। यहाँ पे एसटीएफ के जवान जो हैं वो आ चुके हैं। एसटीएफ की फोर्स जो है वो यहाँ एसएमएस अस्पताल में यहाँ बिल्कुल डिप्लॉय कर दी गई है। यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं पुलिसकर्मी जो हैं वो यहाँ डिप्लॉय कर दिए गए हैं। किरोड़ी लाल मीणा के समर्थकों को यहाँ खदेड़ा जा रहा है, कुछ लोगों को डिटेन किया गया है। तस्वीरों में आप देख सकते हैं, मेरे पीछे आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं तस्वीरों में कि किस तरीके से यहाँ एसटीएफ के जवान जो हैं वो आपको यहाँ पे नजर आ रहे होंगे। किरोड़ी लाल मीणा के समर्थकों को यहाँ पे डिटेन किया गया है और यहाँ तमाम बड़े पुलिस के अधिकारी जो हैं वो पहुँच रहे हैं। यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं ये तस्वीरें आपको एसएमएस अस्पताल की दिखाई दे रही हैं, जहां पर आपको यहां पुलिस जो है वो जाती हुई दिखाई दे रही है। यहां तमाम पुलिस के बड़े अधिकारी जो हैं वो मौजूद हैं। यहां पे आप तस्वीरें देखेंगे जहां एसएमएस अस्पताल में किरोड़ी समर्थकों को ढूंढ करके खोजा जा रहा है और यहां जो प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे थे किरोड़ी के समर्थक, उनको यहां से हटाने की कयावत जो है वो शुरू हो चुकी है। एसएमएस के जो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं एसएमएस के अंदर, एसएमएस अस्पताल के अंदर जहां किरोड़ी लाल मीणा भर्ती हैं, राज्यसभा सांसद हैं, वहां आप ये तस्वीरें देखेंगे जहां पर इनको खदेड़ा जा रहा है। किरोड़ी लाल मीणा के समर्थकों को पुलिस जो है वो खोज रही है, यहाँ से अलग थलग कर रही है। ये तस्वीरें देख रही हैं आप, ये तस्वीरें आप ये देख रहे हैं, यहाँ से किरोड़ी लाल मीणा के समर्थकों को खदेड़ा जा रहा है, भगाया जा रहा है। यहाँ पे किरोड़ी लाल मीणा के समर्थकों को जो है खदेड़ा जा रहा है, भगाया जा रहा है। यहाँ पे तमाम पुलिसकर्मी जो हैं वो यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं। यहाँ पे हैवी डिप्लॉयमेंट के साथ में तमाम पुलिसकर्मी और बड़े पुलिस अधिकारी यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं जो खदेड़ने का काम शुरू कर चुके हैं। कई कार्यकर्ताओं को डिटेन किया गया है और कई कार्यकर्ताओं को हिरासत में लेकर के अंदर डाला गया है। आप यहाँ देख सकते हैं, यहाँ तस्वीरें जो हैं राजेंद्र राठौड़, यहाँ राजेंद्र राठौड़ आपको दिखाई दे रहे होंगे, राजेंद्र राठौड़ आपको यहाँ दिखाई दे रहे होंगे। हम आराम से क्या हो गया? ये मत करो, ये वर्दी इसलिए नहीं पहना रखी आपको। नारेबाजी के बाद
स्थिति को बिगाड़ोगे मिस्टर
गिरफ्तार करना दो, करो गिरफ्तार, हमें नहीं करो ना गिरफ्तार, हमें करो गिरफ्तार, हमें करो गिरफ्तार, करो ना गिरफ्तार, हमें करो गिरफ्तार।
आप जिम्मेदार होंगे।
बदतमीज आदमी, रोकने की कोशिश हो रही है, बदतमीजी हो रही है, खदेड़ने का काम कर रहे हो आप। बीमार आदमी के साथ परिवार के लोग नहीं आएंगे, बीमार के साथ परिवार के लोग नहीं आएंगे। बदतमीज आदमी, कल आएंगे हम 11 बजे लोगों के साथ, हजारों लोगों के साथ सड़क पर बैठेंगे।
अभी जाम कर देंगे।
बात कर रहे हो, ये तरीका है इनका, बदतमीजियों की हद हो गई।
कपड़े तक फाड़ दिए गए डॉक्टर साहब के।
आपके सामने पुलिस ने हॉस्पिटल के अंदर लाठी चार्ज करके खदेड़ा। क्या गुनाह कर रहे थे वो?
राजस्थान में कानून की हत्या नहीं चलेगी, नहीं चलेगी। अशोक गहलोत, अशोक गहलोत,
चलो हम जा रहे हैं। अब घर वालों को कर दो बंद, लगा दो फांसी, लगा दो फांसी।
अशोक गहलोत, तस्वीरें आप देख सकते हैं, किस तरीके से आपको मिलना नहीं दिया जा रहा अपने भाई से।
हाँ, मिलने नहीं दिया जा रहा। मैं भाई हूँ छोटा, सन 1975 से उनके साथ हूँ। सबसे ज्यादती करते आई ये पुलिस, मैंने हर अन्याय सहन किया है, ये मिलने तक नहीं गया।
यहाँ पे तस्वीरें आप देख सकते हैं, यहाँ पे किस तरीके से पुलिस के खिलाफ नारेबाजी हो रही है।
उसी को पकड़ कर बंद कर दो। दादागिरी है क्या? या डेमोक्रेसी है, लोकतंत्र है? और मेरा चैलेंज, मेरा भाई अंदर घायल होके पड़ा है, मैं उनसे मिलने आया हूँ, मेरे को मिलने नहीं दे रहे, ये मुझे पकड़ के बंद करना चाहते हैं। मैं छोटा भाई हूँ, 1975 से उनके साथ हूँ, वो हर संघर्ष में उनके साथ रहा हूँ। मैंने उनको अपना खून दिया, मैंने जान दिए, मैंने उसके भाई के साथ रहा हूँ, मैं उसकी परिस्थिति समझता हूँ। वो गरीब दीनहीन के लिए लड़ा है, आज तक लड़ता है, और मैं उसके साथ हूँ, और मुझे मिलने नहीं दे रहे। ये करें बंद, किसको करते हैं? करें, हमको मारे, सब घर वालों को मारो, लेकिन डेमोक्रेसी है, डेमोक्रेसी रहेगी, लोकतंत्र की हत्या नहीं हो सकती। मुख्यमंत्री जी, मैं चैलेंज कर रहा हूँ आपको, आप में दम है तो हमको मार लो।
रोका जा रहा है, डॉक्टर साहब के कपड़े फाड़ दिए गए। शायद राजस्थान के इतिहास की पहली घटना है कि किसी जनप्रतिनिधि को कच्चे बनियान में पुलिस ने छोड़ा, सारे कपड़े फाड़ दिए। अकेला 72 साल का व्यक्ति जो आम महिलाओं की आवाज को उठाने के लिए जा रहा था, मिलने जा रहा था, अमोद के हनुमान जी के दर्शन करने जा रहा था। क्या राजस्थान में हनुमान जी के दर्शन करने का अपराध है? जिसको रोक करके पुलिस ने जिस निर्मलता पूर्वक डॉक्टर किरोड़ीलाल मीणा के साथ किया, रात को 2:30 बजे वीरांगनाओं को, 3 वीरांगनाएं, उनके संग मारपीट करने का काम किया, उनको छतर-पतर किया। आज तक घर वाले ढूंढ रहे हैं कि है क्या, उनकी जानकारी नहीं। आज जब इस सबको लेकर के आए, तो पुलिस के दम के आधार पर अशोक गहलोत जी चाहते हैं कि उनके लगातार इस उनके जो अन्याय हुआ उस अन्याय के खिलाफ आवाज को दबा देंगे। ये संभव नहीं है। राजस्थान के एक एक कोने को जाम करेंगे। कल राजस्थान की राजधानी में अगर इसी प्रकार का हुआ रहा तो एक बड़ा प्रदर्शन करके राजधानी को जाम करने का सब जगह होगा, जगह जगह प्रतिरोध होगा। जिस प्रकार से पूरी तरह से राजस्थान में आम नागरिक के मौलिक अधिकारों का दमन किया जा रहा है, संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ा रही है, कानून की व्यवस्थाओं का पूरी तरह नजरअंदाज किया जा रहा है। क्या किसी अधिकार को, राजस्थान के नागरिक को अधिकार नहीं कि फ्रीली कहीं घूम सके, कहीं जा सके?
कपड़े उतार दिए जाते हैं, उन्हें मारा पीटा जाता है, घसीटा जाता है, गर्दन में चोट लगी है, उनके समर्थक मिलने आते हैं तो रोक दिया जाता है।
निश्चित रूप से एक केवल अकेला सांसद और उसके साथ 200 के आसपास पुलिस वाले उसके ऊपर पिल के पड़ते हैं, शरीर का एक एक कपड़ा उतारते हैं और केवल कच्चे बनियान में उनको छोड़ने की स्थिति आती है। ये इस तरह की अशोभनीय घटना राजस्थान में कभी नहीं हुई और शायद गहलोत जी को इस बात का एहसास नहीं है कि जब राजस्थान की जनता खड़ी होगी तो आपके अत्याचार समाप्त होंगे। सारे आम मौलिक अधिकार जो मौलिक अधिकारों का हनन इस राज्य में हो रहा है।
राठौड़ यहाँ कुछ कह रहे हैं।
कीमत पर इस पूरे मामले को कुचला जाना चाहिए। इसलिए पहले निशाना थे डॉक्टर किरोड़ीलाल, अब दूसरा निशाना उनके परिवार को बनाया जा रहा है। इससे बड़ी शर्मनाक बात हो नहीं सकती। किरोड़ीलाल के समर्थक अभी ने चर्चा की है, कल 11 बजे हम इस पूरी लड़ाई को सड़क पर लड़ेंगे और इस सरकार की चूल्हे हिलाएंगे। अब ये लड़ाई सड़क पर होगी।
सुबह 3 बजे से बर्बरता हो रही है, पुलिस की सुबह 3 बजे हुई।
अभी देखिए, जब कभी भी कोई बड़े नेता के साथ तबीयत खराब होती है या कोई घटना होती है तो समर्थकों का हजूम लगता है। ये कोई पहली बार सवाई मानसिक चिकित्सालय में नहीं हुआ, पर डॉक्टर किरोड़ीलाल के परिवार के लोगों के साथ और डॉक्टर किरोड़ीलाल के चाहने वालों के साथ जो इस एसएमएस के परिसर में जो व्यवहार हुआ है, खदेड़ा गया उनको डंडों के बल पर, यह आपत्तिजनक है। अब तो पुलिस के अन्याय की प्रकाष्ठा है। हम इस पूरे लड़ाई के लिए संघर्ष करेंगे।
ये शाओलिन का मामला, ये मार्शल आर्ट्स का, वेदर इट्स कुंग फू, वेदर इट्स अदर मार्शल आर्ट दैट यू हैव लर्नड सो मेनी, शाओलिन कितना टफ था?
सर बहुत टफ था। वहाँ 6 दिन 7 घंटा हर रोज हमारा पहला एक्सरसाइज होता था। 1000 मीटर का पहाड़ है, उसको हमको भागना पड़ता था 20 मिनट में, एंड लाइक अ डॉग ऑन हैंड एंड फीट वी हैड टू क्रॉल बैक द हिल। देन वी हैड टू बी इन अ स्क्वाट पोजीशन फॉर एटलीस्ट 1 आवर और हमारी टांगें ऐसी हिल रही होती थी एंड my each and every part of my body was paining, it was crying, muscles were sore। मतलब उस वक्त मैं कॉम्बी फ्लेम होती थी, कॉम्बी फ्लेम ले लेके ट्रेनिंग करता था मैं।
Time now for a short break. On the other side, getting you details as Prime Minister Modi raises attacks on Hindu temples in Australia, seeking action from Albanese. And in a record win, Xi Jinping has been elected as China's president for a 3rd time.
Is the only channel on board INS Vikrant, which is India's indigenous aircraft carrier, and this is the first time where INS Vikrant has reached Mumbai from Kochi. We have been reporting on board, and this is coming right after the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Thursday, who embarked on India's indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, and Albanese, who was received on board Vikrant by Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Hari Kumar with a guard of honor. Carrier INS Vikrant, which is the pride of India, is been serving since years, and even we know that INS Vikrant, which has really played a vital role in 1971, but where it was before, earlier it was decommissioned in 2016, but last year, that is on 2nd September 2022, where the Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the first made in India aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, carrying it a historic occasion and an exceptional symbol of a self-relevant India. It's very honor for us, as we can see the Australian Prime Minister who was here on board yesterday, and also it is an invite from the Australia as well, because the next program that is going to be happen in Australia is something has been invited to Indian Navy.
Ma'am, as of now, we don't have the exact details of the same, ma'am. However, it was a prestigious event for us, one of a kind event wherein a prime minister of a foreign nation has visited us, and we hosted them well, ma'am. And they had a long time here. They saw the deck and the facilities on board, and they saw the indigenous aircraft LCA Tejas and interacted with our crew and men. So all in all, it was a learning experience for us, an exposure for us, and a prestigious event, as I said.
A serving soldier of the Indian Army has been murdered by a politician, and the Latvian media is quiet about it. Not emphatically, not vocally, not till Republic named and shamed them about their silence over Lance Naik Prabhu's death. Look at this man. He's the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, and as our reporter runs after him to ask him to say one thing, he says not one word. He just keeps running away from the Republic reporters.
All the 9 of the accused have been taken to custody. The primary accused, Chinnasamy, had been picked up by the CID and handed over to the Tamil Nadu cops.
DRS leader Kavitha, who is facing the Enforcement Directorate's heat in the Delhi liquor policy case, is going to undertake a one-day hunger strike at Jantar Mantar on March 10th. This is in order to table the Women's Reservation Bill in the current session of Parliament. The rally will include participation from a number of opposition parties and women's organizations. Addressing the media, Kavitha, the daughter of Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, said the bill has been lying in cold storage since 2010 and Modi government has a historic opportunity to get it passed in Parliament before 2024.
I see there are two pictures that have been doing the rounds, and you are seen in that picture along with Arun Ramachandra Pillai and Abhishek Boinpalli. Both of them happen to be accused in that case. You are not an accused. Do you know Mr. Pillai and Mr. Boinpalli?
A few of them I know, I might have known. Point here is, how are these few people that I know have been treated by ED? There are ED excesses today, there are IT excesses today, there are CBI excesses today happening in this country on the behest of a political party in power.
And well, BJP has released the list of the Election Campaign Committee and Election Management Committee for the upcoming polls in Karnataka. Notably, Minister of Infrastructure Development of Karnataka, Veeranna Somanna's name has not been included in the list of both the management and campaign committees. Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai is poised to chair the BJP campaign committee for the upcoming state assembly polls. Union Ministers Shobha Karandlaje and Bhagwanta Kubha will be the convener and co-convener of the Election Management Committee respectively. V. Somanna's name missing off the BJP list of the Election Campaign Committee and Election Management Committee for the upcoming polls in Karnataka. Actor turned politician and Mandya Lok Sabha MP Sumalata Ambarish has declared full support to the ruling BJP ahead of the upcoming Karnataka Assembly elections 2023. Earlier, there were talks of Sumalata joining the BJP as she had met with party president JP Nadda last night. Striking a blow to BJP ahead of the Assembly election in Karnataka, incumbent MLC Putana resigned from his position as MLC and the primary membership of the party after a tenure of 4 years. Putana has now joined the Congress party. MLC has cited personal reasons as the reason for his induction. Following MLC Putana's resignation, prominent congressman and Rajya Sabha MP Randeep Singh Surjewala attacked the BJP in a tweet. The congressman alleged that Putana's resignation was because he was feeling suffocated and stifled by the BJP. We're slipping into a short commercial break, but we come back to those pictures on the other side where Prime Minister Modi is inaugurating the third session of National Platform for Disaster Risk Reduction.
Days after the Karnataka corruption wing recovered the cash dash of more than rupees 8 crore from BJP MLA's son, the Lokayukta grilled the prime bribe gate accused and BJP MLA Madal Virupakshapa for over 5 hours on Thursday. Republic confronted the BJP MLA yesterday.
Sir, Lokayukta ಮುಂದೆ ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Sir, are you appearing before the Lokayukta? Sir, where were you all these days? Sir, where were you all these days? Mr. Madal, where were you? Mr. Madal, where were you? Mr. Madal.
On being asked about his whereabouts on the same day the bribe gate exploded, the MLA kept mum.
Sir, Lokayukta ಮುಂದೆ ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Sir, are you appearing before the Lokayukta? Sir, where were you all these days? Sir.
Out on bail, Virupakshapa received a warm welcome by his supporters on Tuesday. The tainted BJP MLA even denied graft charge, claiming that the money recovered during raids was earned from groundnut plantation. Therefore, the leader, after being interrogated yesterday, assured his full cooperation in the further investigation.
ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯದ ಆದೇಶದಂತೆ ಈ ದಿನ ನಾನು ವಿಚಾರಣೆಗೆ
ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ ಸರ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ?
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಡೋಣ ಸಾಕು ಬಿಡೋಣ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಗ ಬಿಡೋಣ
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಹಿರಿಯ ಶಾಸಕ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ನನಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ನನ್ನ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
With bribe gate hitting the BJP right ahead of polls, will Bomai-led government be able to wash off this taint? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Is the only channel on board INS Vikrant, which is India's indigenous aircraft carrier, and this is the first time where INS Vikrant has reached Mumbai from Kochi. We have been reporting on board, and this is coming right after the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Thursday, who embarked on India's indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, and Albanese, who was received on board Vikrant by Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Hari Kumar with a guard of honor. Carrier INS Vikrant, which is the pride of India, is been serving since years, and even we know that INS Vikrant, which has really played a vital role in 1971, but where it was before, earlier it was decommissioned in 2016, but last year, that is on 2nd September 2022, where the Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the first made in India aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, carrying it a historic occasion and an exceptional symbol of a self-relevant India. It's very honor for us, as we can see the Australian Prime Minister, who was here on board yesterday, and also it has an invite from the Australia as well, because the next
So those are the pictures coming in from Bengaluru. BJP National President JP Nadda is holding this grand roadshow as is preparation underway ahead of the Karnataka polls. And Prajwal is joining me on the phone line as we stay with these pictures. Prajwal, as always, the BJP going all out ahead of the polls to reach out to the people. In a door-to-door campaign also, that has quite been the strategy, and fielding bigwigs of the party. Here again we see JP Nadda receiving that rousing welcome by his supporters on the ground. Take us through these pictures, this roadshow of JP Nadda in Bengaluru.
Now we are looking at the BJP National President JP Nadda, who is making his way towards Shivajinagar, which is basically being considered a stronghold of the Congress over here, because the sitting MLA is from the Congress, Ridwan Arshad, and this time as part of BJP's Mission 20 for Bangalore, which has 28 assembly constituencies, they think that the BJP can go on and make inroads in Shivajinagar as well. But all said and done, we will need to go on and see as to how the BJP will work out in selecting its candidate as well. But on this note, we will also quickly be slipping into a short break, but we will continue our live coverage on JP Nadda's roadshow here in Bengaluru at Shivajinagar Assembly constituency.
आप इंडिया आते हैं एंड देन यू स्टार्ट स्पेशल फोर्सेस, एनएसजी, गरुड़, मार्कोस, किस तरीके से ये सफर शुरू हुआ स्पेशल फोर्सेस को ट्रेन करने?
कर्नल साहब, तो ही वाज एट दैट टाइम CEO of 6AR, और पहली अपॉर्चुनिटी उन्होंने मुझे दी, अच्छा, टू ट्रेन हिज रेजिमेंट, एंड ही आस्क्ड मी कि आप इनको नाइफ टू नाइफ कॉम्बैट में खुकरी ट्रेन करो। जब मैंने ADG इन्फेंट्री के सामने वो डेमो दिया और उनको वो बहुत अलग लिखा, एज लॉन्ग एज आवर सोल्जर्स आर सेफ, दे गेट द बेस्ट, आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम।
Days after the Karnataka corruption wing recovered the cash dash of more than rupees 8 crore from BJP MLA's son, the Lokayukta grilled the prime bribe gate accused and BJP MLA Madhur Virupakshapa for over 5 hours on Thursday. Republic confronted the BJP MLA yesterday.
Sir, Lokayukta ಮುಂದೆ ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Sir, are you appearing before the Lokayukta? Sir, where were you all these days? Sir, where were you all these days? Mr. Madal, where were you? Mr. Madal, where were you? Mr. Madal.
On being asked about his whereabouts on the same day the bribe gate exploded, the MLA kept mum.
Sir, Lokayukta ಮುಂದೆ ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಅಪಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? Sir, are you appearing before the Lokayukta? Sir, where were you all these days? Sir.
Out on bail, Virupakshapa received a warm welcome by supporters on Tuesday. The tainted BJP MLA even denied graft charge, claiming that the money recovered during raids was earned from groundnut plantation. Therefore, the leader, after being interrogated yesterday, assured his full cooperation in the further investigation.
ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯದ ಆದೇಶದಂತೆ ಈ ದಿನ ನಾನು ವಿಚಾರಣೆಗೆ ಹಾಜರಾಗ್ತೀನಿ.
ಸರ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ ಸರ್? ಇಷ್ಟು ದಿವಸ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ರಿ?
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜಾಗ
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ, ನಾನೊಬ್ಬ ಹಿರಿಯ ಶಾಸಕ, ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ನನಗೆ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದೆ. ನೀವು ನನ್ನ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
With bribe gate hitting the BJP right ahead of polls, Will Bomai-led government be able to wash off this taint? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Is the only channel on board INS Vikrant, which is India's indigenous aircraft carrier, and this is the first time where INS Vikrant has reached Mumbai from Kochi. We have been reporting on board, and this is coming right after the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Thursday, who embarked on India's indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, and Albanese, who was received on board Vikrant by Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Hari Kumar with a guard of honor. Carrier INS Vikrant, which is the pride of India, is been serving since years, and even we know that INS Vikrant, which has really played a vital role in 1971, but where it was before, earlier it was decommissioned in 2016, but last year, that is on 2nd September 2022, where the Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the first made in India aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, carrying it a historic occasion and an exceptional symbol of a self-relevant India. It's very honor for us, as we can see the Australian Prime Minister who was here on board yesterday, and also it is an invite from the Australia as well, because the next program that is going to be happen in Australia is something has been invited to Indian Navy.
Ma'am, as of now, we don't have the exact details of the same, ma'am. However, it was a prestigious event for us, one of a kind event wherein a Prime Minister of a foreign nation has visited us, and we hosted them well, ma'am, and they had a long time here. They saw the deck and the facilities on board, and they saw the indigenous aircraft LCA Tejas and interacted with our crew and men. So all in all, it was a learning experience for us, an exposure for us, and a prestigious event, as I said.
A serving soldier of the Indian Army has been murdered by
ये शाओलिन का मामला, ये मार्शल आर्ट्स का, whether it's kung fu, whether it's other martial arts that you've learned so many. शाओलिन कितना टफ था?
सर बहुत टफ था। वहाँ 6 दिन 7 घंटा हर रोज़। हमारा पहला एक्सरसाइज होता था, 1000 मीटर का पहाड़ है, उसको हमको भागना पड़ता था 20 मिनट में, एंड लाइक अ डॉग ऑन हैंड एंड फीट वी हैड टू क्रॉल बैक द हिल, देन वी हैड टू बी इन अ स्क्वाट पोजीशन फॉर एटलीस्ट 1 आवर, और हमारी टांगें ऐसे हिल रही होती थी, एंड माई ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट ऑफ माई बॉडी वॉज पेनिंग, इट वॉज क्राइंग, मसल्स वॉज सोर। मतलब उस वक्त मैं कॉम्बी फ्लेम होती थी, कॉम्बी फ्लेम ले लेके ट्रेनिंग करता था मैं।
Focusing about the future of your party, 21 years after it was founded, now you've taken the national foray. The BRS has come into the picture. You're looking at stitching an alliance, and which becomes far more difficult. We've seen in multiple states there isn't any coordination between the opposition parties. So how exactly are you really looking at?
Our goal right now for 2024 is to dislodge the current Bharatiya Janata Party government at the center. For that goal, whoever has a similar line of thinking, we will work with them. KCR Garu had gone to meet Mamta Di, then he has gone to meet Uddhav Thackeray ji, Sharad Pawar ji. Every single politician in this country, Honorable KCR Garu has approached to make sure there is a understanding.
Indian opposition parties joined Kavitha's hunger strike. Is the agency cracked down the glue-sticking opposition ahead of 2024? Trouble mounts for Kejriwal's deputy Sisodia to stay in jail as court reserves order. Gehlot's cops hit a new low. Whereabouts of Pulwama widows unknown after late-night detention. Government exposes Western media propaganda, says New York Times, peddling lies against the Modi government.
ऑस्ट्रेलिया में मंदिरों पर हमलों की खबरें नियमित रूप से आ रही है। हमारी इन भावनाओं और चिंताओं को मैंने प्रधानमंत्री एल्बेनीजी के समक्ष रखा और उन्होंने मुझे आश्वस्त किया है कि भारतीय समुदाय की सेफ्टी उनके लिए विशेष प्राथमिकता है।
Prime Minister Modi raises the tax on Hindu temples in Australia, seeks action from Albanese. And a record win, Xi Jinping has now been elected as China's president for a third time. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur accused the New York Times of spreading lies about India, describing an opinion piece published in it on the freedom of press in Kashmir as mischievous and fictitious. In fact, he tweeted, New York Times had long back dropped all pretensions of neutrality while publishing anything about India. NYT's so-called opinion piece on freedom of press in Kashmir is mischievous and fictitious, published with the sole motive to spread a propaganda about India and its democratic institutions and values. Joining us on the broadcast right now is our senior executive editor Abhishek Kapoor. Abhishek, just put this into perspective. The government has now made it abundantly clear that they are no longer going to continue this kind of propaganda. They believe that the New York Times has a track record. The track record has been absolutely mischievous. Just walk us through the details that you're picking up.
Well, it's obvious that the government had to really take down the narrative that New York Times has tried to push on Jammu and Kashmir, Shawan on press freedom. Remember, the article in fact goes on to say that if the Jammu and Kashmir press freedom model is replicated across the country, democracy would be compromised and democracy would be under threat in India. So you see sort of that a similarity in the narrative that, for example, Rahul Gandhi has been pushing in London about democracy under attack.
Well, in fact, just getting in some more breaking news right now. Manish Sisodia has now been sent to 7 days of ED custody. That's till about 17th of March that he would be in the Enforcement Directorate's custody. This comes in at a time when he was already sent in for judicial custody after the CBI had ended their custody. In fact, the Enforcement Directorate says that they've got fresh evidence and they need custodial interrogation of Manish Sisodia. He's going to be present at the ED custody till about 17th of March. His bail plea comes up for hearing only on 21st March, but that does not really help the former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, keeping in mind that the bail plea this time was with regards to the CBI case. He's now been arrested in the Enforcement Directorate case. In fact, he will perhaps have to move for another bail plea as far as the ED case is concerned. Remember, in this particular case, Sisodia's lawyers have essentially been arguing that from the time the investigation actually began, there wasn't any summons that was sent to Manish Sisodia. In fact, I'm being told that my colleague Piyush Mishra is joining us from the Rouse Avenue Court right now. Piyush, just walk us through the details that you're picking up. What is it that the Enforcement Directorate had to tell the court in terms of the evidence that has been gathered so far?
Well, Shaman, what we're now hearing is that 7 years of police custody has been now given to Enforcement Directorate by the Rouse Avenue Court. Remember that Merson hearing took place and Enforcement Directorate has leveled a serious allegations as to how it was at the behest of Manish Sisodia, Arvind Kejriwal, that Vijay Nair went there to meet with the South Carter. In fact, he was the one who was representing them and he was the main conspirator. On the other side, Manish Sisodia's counsel said that they were not able to establish the ED as not been able to establish any kind of money trail, and till the time it is not established, the custody or the remand should be rejected. But now ED, after listening to both the sides, has granted 7 days of custody to Enforcement Directorate, and now from here, Manish Sisodia will be directly taken to Enforcement Directorate office from the Rouse Avenue Court. Remember that 10 days of custody was sought by Enforcement Directorate, and yesterday itself he was arrested by ED when after this thorough drilling there inside the Tihar jail. The trouble for Manish Sisodia continues to increase. Today the court was also going to hear the arguments on the bail plea of Manish Sisodia, but that has not taken place so far. And this bail plea was regarding the arrest which was made by Central Bureau of Investigation. But today when ED produced him before the court, ED put forth the kind of arguments, the kind of evidences those have been collected by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember the 57-page demand copy was shown to the court, and after which listening to what the counsel of ED said, Manish Sisodia's counsel also opposed the remand of Manish Sisodia. But now it has been granted. Court, after hearing to both the sides, has granted 10 days of police custody. We'll have to wait and watch how the investigation is now further going to proceed in this very case. Also, it is important to highlight as to how the role of Arvind Kejriwal has also come out. In fact, ED has said that to benefit Aam Aadmi Party in large numbers, the South lobby was also activated. In fact, they paid 100 crore to tweak the policy. So there are multiple allegations that have now been leveled by ED when Sisodia was produced before the court. We'll have to see how things are going to proceed from now onwards.
Well, in fact, we'll try and get Piyush live, and we've also accessed the remand copy. We're going to put out the full details of what the Enforcement Directorate essentially has to say in terms of the investigation that's been carried out. I'll just take our viewers through some of the details that we're picking up till the time Piyush joins us. We'll also try and put this out on our newsroom, the details of the remand copy that has been exclusively accessed by Republic TV, which gives us full details of what the Enforcement Directorate says in terms of the role of Manish Sisodia in formulation and implementation of the excise policy. The Enforcement Directorate says that Manish Sisodia got the policy formulated, implemented in a way so as to allow the illegal gains to certain persons, entities against the kickbacks. He also took various decisions as part of the GOM as the excise minister, which ultimately resulted into huge loss to the exchequer and illegal gains to specific persons. Complete role is this. They've now put out full details of how he's disregarded the recommendation that was made by the expert committee that were not taken into consideration by Manish Sisodia in the GOM report. In fact, if we can also tell our producers to just put this out, the copy of the remand that we have now accessed, perhaps get someone in the newsroom and take you through some of the details, because this gives us a full idea. 58 pages remand copy which has now been accessed by Republic TV. Let's break that right now as we get more and more details. They're now putting out full details of the old policy versus the expert committee recommendations and the GOM policy. In fact, they're essentially talking about the 5% profit margin that was spoken about, mix of the state government, corporations and vendors that were basically brought in. All that details are accessed by Republic TV as we get more and more details, and we'll try and go across to our reporters. In fact, let me bring in my colleague Piyush right now. Piyush, just we've accessed the remand copy. We'll put out the details, but if you could just quickly take our viewers through the arguments that have been put forth by the Enforcement Directorate. In terms of evidence, what is it that the Enforcement Directorate is essentially harping on? What is it that they've got so far?
Well, there are multiple things, Shavan. During the course of investigation, ED has been able to...
पूरी सीबीआई ईडी लगाने के बाद, सारी जांच एजेंसियों की ताकत झोंकने के बाद क्या बरामदगी हुई आप बताइए, पूरे देश को सामने आकर बताइए क्या क्या आपने बरामद किया, कितने पैसे मिले मनीष सिसोदिया के घर, कितनी रिकवरी हुई मनीष सिसोदिया के घर, किस आरोप और जुर्म में आपने मनीष सिसोदिया को जेल में रखा है, बताइए आप। कोई जवाब नहीं है। जवाब सिर्फ एक है, आम आदमी पार्टी को किसी तरीके से रोको, मनीष सिसोदिया को किसी भी तरीके से जेल में रखो, और जो भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और उनके मित्र के ऊपर लग रहे हैं, उस अडानी के घोटाले से ध्यान भटकाने के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी जो भ्रष्टाचार में सर से पांव तक डूबी हुई है, उस भ्रष्टाचार से ध्यान हटाने के लिए ये रोज नए नए ड्रामे, नई नई कहानियां, नई नई सीबीआई के किस्से, नए नए ईडी के किस्से आ रहे हैं। इसका न सिर है न पांव है। और भारतीय जनता पार्टी तो वो पार्टी बन गई है जिसमें जो जितना बड़ा भ्रष्टाचारी वो उतना बड़ा पदाधिकारी। आप सोचिए, वाटर स्कैम का आरोप हेमंत विश्व शर्मा पर भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने लगाया, फिर उसको मुख्यमंत्री बना दिया। मुकुल राय पर शारदा स्कैम का आरोप लगाया, फिर उसको राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष बना दिया। शुभेंदु अधिकारी पर शारदा स्कैम के भ्रष्टाचार की जांच चलती है, फिर उसको लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन बंगाल का बना दिया। नारायण राणे पर लैंड स्कैम, जमीन के घोटाले का मामला चलता है सीबीआई में, फिर उनको केंद्रीय मंत्री बना दिया जाता है। अजीत पवार पर चक्की पिसिंग कह के सिंचाई घोटाले का 40,000 करोड़ का आरोप लगाया जाता है, फिर 6:30 बजे सुबह देवेंद्र फडणवीस के साथ मिलकर शपथ ले ली जाती है। येदियुरप्पा पर माइनिंग घोटाले का आरोप लगता है, फिर उनको मुख्यमंत्री बना दिया जाता है। शिवराज सिंह पर व्यापम घोटाले का आरोप लगता है, फिर उनको मुख्यमंत्री बना दिया जाता है। तो बीजेपी का नारा है, जो जितना बड़ा भ्रष्टाचारी वो उतना बड़ा पदाधिकारी। ये इनकी हालत है, ये इनकी हालत है। पूरा देश देख रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री जी, आप में जरा सा भी नैतिक साहस है तो आइए और बताइए मनीष सिसोदिया के घर पे क्या रिकवरी हुई, बताइए इतने सारे छापेमारियों के बाद कितना कैश मिला, क्या क्या बरामदगी हुई, बताइए पूरे देश को। और जहां बरामदगी होती है वहां पर आंख पर पट्टी बांध लेते हो आप लोग। वहां आपकी सीबीआई, वहां आपकी ईडी, वहां आपकी जांच एजेंसियां ऐसे मामलों में गजनी मोड में चली जाती है, गजनी मोड में। याददाश्त ठीक हो जाती है जब बीजेपी एमएलए के बेटे के घर 8 करोड़ रुपए निकलता है, कैश में मोटी मोटी गड्डियां सामने आती है, उसको जमानत मिल जाती है, उसके खिलाफ कोई कार्रवाई नहीं होती। जब अडानी का घोटाला सामने आता है, मॉरिशस में एक पते पर 6 कंपनी खोलकर 42,000 करोड़ रुपए काला धन, उन 6 कंपनियों की आमदनी का जरिया पता नहीं, अडानी की कंपनी में हिंदुस्तान के अंदर 42,000 करोड़ रुपए लगाया जाता है। कोई ईडी, कोई सीबीआई, कोई जांच एजेंसी उस पर कार्रवाई नहीं करती। बताइए आप, मुंद्रा पोर्ट पर 3,000 किलो ड्रग्स मिली, हीरोइन मिली, तालिबान से वो ड्रग्स लाई गई थी। 3,000 किलो हीरोइन, 20,000 करोड़ रुपए का ड्रग्स मिला। और मोदी जी आपने क्या किया? जो 20,000 करोड़ का तालिबान आपको ड्रग्स देता है, भारत के मुंद्रा पोर्ट पर ड्रग्स देता है, उस तालिबान को आप 20,000 टन गेहूं देते हैं। मोदी जी का नारा है, तुम मुझे ड्रग्स दो, मैं तुम्हें गेहूं दूंगा। यह नारा है इनका। आज आटा खिलाया जा रहा है तालिबानियों को, आटा खिला खिला के मोटा किया जा रहा है। आप मुझे जरा बताइए, भारत के बजट में सैकड़ों करोड़ रुपए मोदी जी दे देते हैं, बताइए आप।
Well, in fact, this was the Aam Aadmi Party's hitting out at the Bharatiya Janata Party, listing out all the corruption cases in which BJP leaders have essentially been named. The question here that the Aam Aadmi Party is asking is that why exactly are only opposition leaders essentially being targeted by the use of the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation? In fact, this is a position not only taken by the Aam Aadmi Party but the other opposition leaders, including the BRS, whose leader has now been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, it also finds yet another mention of Kavitha in the remand copy that has been put across by the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, we'll try and get you all the details. We'll get you the details from our newsroom. the details of the remand, in which they're making a clear mention of the entire investigation that's been carried out. They put out digital evidence in terms of WhatsApp conversations on your screens right now. That's the remand copy that has been accessed by Republic TV. Let's try and go to page number 33. In page number 33 is where some details of the meetings and the digital evidence has been put across. We'll try and communicate this to our newsroom. Page number 33 is where we're going to try and focus right now, where all the details of the WhatsApp messages. Meanwhile, let me just get in a quick word while we try and show you page number 33 of the remand copy, which has given details of the meetings that took place in the national capital, and also the very fact that Vijay Nayak, communication strategist of the Aam Aadmi Party, demanding money from the South lobby, that too finds a mention in the remand copy. We'll try and go across to Piyush. Piyush, just as we take out the big details emerging from the remand copy, what is it that you picked up while from the hearing that took place inside the court? As I'll also take our viewers through some of the details right now. Page number 33 is there on our screens right now. Piyush, just first over to you for more details while I take our viewers through some of the details that we're picking up from the remand copy.
में जो ग्राउंड थे वो वही सारे वीआई ने रेज किए थे और उस पर कोर्ट ने जो है अभी 10 दिन की पीसी मांगी थी ईडी ने। कोर्ट ने 17 तारीख तक यानी 7 दिन की पीसी ग्रांट की है और 17 तारीख को 2 बजे फिर कोर्ट में पेश करना होगा ईडी को।
Sir, your line of argument was for Mr. Sisodia that there is no clear evidence against him, that there is no money trail, but it does not seem to have been accepted by the court.
No, the court is not that the court has not accepted it. The grant of remand is a process of the investigation. So it's not about the accepting or rejecting the argument, but on the paper. In the application, 58 pages of the application, and not a single proof they are going to show to the court that where money has reached Mr. Sisodia or not. Not at all. But not an idea.
और संजय सिंह का नाम लिया गया कि
it is in the some statement given by the some witnesses, not by the ED in any of that. That was referred.
So what was actually said in the remand application? What are the
there are 50 pages.
What are the evidences that the ED is talking about?
I would say that 58 pages of the remand application, all blown up allegations, nothing substantial, and not a single iota of an evidence where it has been shown that the money trail has reached to Mr. Sisodia. Nothing.
Once again, this allegation coming in that he has been completely evasive since beginning. He has been, evasive.
See, in investigation, you're supposed to say what you're supposed to say. You can't put a gun on the head and say that they confessed something. So that this can't be the investigation. So whatever reply that he has given, they will keep on saying that they're evasive and all. Nothing like that.
What is the next step now for Mr. Sisodia?
Now the bail application in the CBI, which has been postponed by in the haste that the EDA has arrested. One day when the bail application was listed today, they have arrested yesterday. It shows the kind of the malafide that the ED has. So now the bail application will be heard on 21st.
No, 17 will you seek preponement of the bail hearing?
No, that's not the case because 17 till the police remand is there. We may make a prayer of the bail hearing to take place on the same day if the ED comes with that no further remand is there and all those circumstances. Let's see what happens on the 17th first.
We had Rishikesh Shawar speaking about the court hearing which took place today. He was also telling us as to how the counsel of Manish Sisodia replied in the court. In fact, once again we are seeing as to how the counsel of Manish Sisodia, Mr. Rishikesh, is stressing on the fact that nobody can put a gun on Manish Sisodia and ask him to confess. He will say what he knows. So at one side, Enforcement Directorate is making serious allegations on former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi. On the other side, Manish Sisodia's counsels are coming out and they are saying that no such allegation has so far been proven, or ED has not been able to establish any kind of money trail. Remember that in its demand copy, Enforcement Directorate has also mentioned about the important two big statements of Dinesh Arora and Buchi Babu, where they have mentioned as to how Vijay Nair was the key conspirator. He was looking after the entire conspiracy as to how to look into the formulation and how to hold series of meetings. Let us also tell to our viewers what actually happened in the court. Enforcement Directorate in the court had said that the then secretary to Manish Sisodia had disclosed that despite his suggestions, Sisodia got the diluted definition in GOM report. And they also mentioned about the fact as to how Vijay Nair was the one who was looking after everything. He was the one coordinating the entire conspiracy, leading to the remand copy which was presented by the ED in the court. They also said about the WhatsApp chats. They also spoke about the WhatsApp chats which somewhere suggested as to how Vijay was directly asking for money, where he said that I need money. So that was also told by ED to the court. In fact, it also further went on to said that the conspiracy was hatched by Vijay Nair, Manish Sisodia, K. Kavitha and many others. The South Group paid a kickback of nearly 100 crore to Aam Aadmi Party leaders. The statement was given by Buchi Babu on 23rd of February, disclosed that there was understanding between K. Kavitha and Manish Sisodia, and the further statement discloses that K. Kavitha met Vijay Nair and he wanted to show how he can influence the policy. He was acting on behalf of the Chief Minister and Delhi and the Deputy Chief Minister, which means Arvind Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia. Statement further states, important point, that at one time Nair said we need money, and the money he was referring to was the kickback promise, and that has been because of the WhatsApp chat which Enforcement Directorate has been able to retrieve, and that's a big allegation which has now been leveled by Enforcement Directorate. We'll have to see how the further investigation goes on, but today court, after listening to both these sides, has granted 7 days of police custody of Manish Sisodia to ED. We'll have to see how things are further going to proceed from here. Remember that ED had sought 10 days of remand from the court, but now from here, after ED gets Manish Sisodia's custody, he will be directly taken to the ED office, which is there at the APJ Abdul Kalam Road. Shawan.
Well, thank you very much, Piyush, for getting us the latest details. We'll slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll get you more details from the details that have been put out by the Enforcement Directorate in the remand copy. The mega roadshow in Bengaluru as JP Nadda now takes on the Congress party.
DRS leader Kavitha, who is facing the Enforcement Directorate's heat in the Delhi liquor policy case, is going to undertake a one-day hunger strike at Jantar Mantar on March 10th. This is in order to table the Women's Reservation Bill in the current session of Parliament. The rally will include participation from a number of opposition parties and women's organizations. Addressing the media, Kavitha, the daughter of Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, said the bill has been lying in cold storage since 2010 and Modi government has a historic opportunity to get it passed in Parliament before 2024.
Seen many nations which have given reservations to women in political platforms and national parliaments have made tremendous strides in terms of overall development of the nation. So now the point being, since the time I was in parliament, every Women's Day we would get an opportunity to speak, and every time inside and outside the parliament, wherever I got the chance, I've constantly raised the issue of women's reservation bill. Why? I'll tell you. Because in this country from 1996, the issue has actually started, the discussion has started. From then till 2014, every Prime Minister had made an effort to bring the bill.
So far, 18 parties, including the CPIM and the Shiv Sena, have confirmed their participation.
My party has passed a resolution in the assembly, not now, in between 2014 and 19, I think it is in 2016, they have passed a resolution in the assembly saying whenever a women reservation bill is tabled in the parliament, BRS will stand by the government. So we will do it, and I am saying Modi ji had promised not incremental growth, mind you, has promised exponential growth. If Honorable Modi ji wants it, he can pass the bill and there will be 180 women MPs, doesn't matter whichever party, in the parliament in 2024. That is the strength today BJP has, and they should utilize it for the greater good of the women. That is my sincere appeal.
CPIM leader Sitaram Yechuri will inaugurate the program at 10 a.m. Kavitha said Prime Minister Narendra Modi had promised in both 2014 and 2019 Lok Sabha polls that his government would bring this bill and that it was also part of the BJP's election manifesto. She also added that none of the BJP leaders raised this issue and the Modi government has failed to get this bill passed in Parliament despite having a majority. The bill, which seeks to reserve 33% seats in Lok Sabha and all state legislative assemblies for women, was introduced in the Rajya Sabha in May 2008 and was referred to a standing committee. In 2010, it was passed in the House and transmitted finally to the Lok Sabha. However, the bill ended up getting lapsed with the 15th Lok Sabha.
आप इंडिया आते हैं and then you start special forces, NSG, गरोड़, मार्कोस, किस तरीके से ये सफर शुरू हुआ स्पेशल फोर्सेस को ट्रेन करने?
कर्नल साहब, तो ही वाज एट दैट टाइम CEO of 6AR और पहली अपॉर्चुनिटी उन्होंने मुझे दी,
अच्छा,
टू ट्रेन हिज रेजिमेंट एंड ही आस्क्ड मी कि आप इनको नाइफ टू नाइफ कॉम्बैट में खुकरी ट्रेन करो. जब मैंने ADG इन्फेंट्री के सामने वो डेमो दिया और उनको वो बहुत अलग लिखा, एज लॉन्ग एज आवर सोल्जर्स आर सेफ, दे गेट द बेस्ट, आई हैव नो प्रॉब्लम.
Sisodia to stay in ED custody till March 17th. His bail hearing is on the 21st of March. Eighteen opposition parties joined Kavitha's hunger strike. Is agency crackdown the glue sticking the opposition together ahead of 2024? Gehlot's cops hit a new low. Whereabouts of Pulwama widows unknown after late night detention. Thank you for staying with Republic, and the latest that we are picking up on Manish Sisodia, as we understand that he has been sent to ED custody till the 17th of March, a week that has been granted to the ED for questioning the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister. Remember, his bail plea will now be heard on the 21st, but for this 1 week, he stays in ED custody, where ED will be questioning him in the Liquor Gate case. Remember, some strong allegations that have been made by the Enforcement Directorate in the court today, where they went on to say that the profit percentage that was increased from 5% to 12%, and the draft liquor policy that was tweaked such that to favor the retailers and the South Group. I want to cut across to my colleague Piyush, who's joining us on the broadcast. Piyush, Republic has been able to access the ED remand application for Manish Sisodia, in which the ED has mentioned WhatsApp chats and proceeds of crime accounting to over 292 crore rupees. Now, we understand how Manish Sisodia's lawyer had also claimed that there are no proceeds of crime that have really been recovered by any of the agencies or evidence to that effect that has been presented. But these are some scathing allegations that have been made against the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister. Give us details of what it states.